Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 28-year-old Alabama resident and Marine veteran Kaleb Dillard traveled to D.C. with his family members. Once he reached the Capitol grounds, he headed toward the east side of the building, and he pushed his way to the front of the mob at the rotunda doors. So the crowd was pushing against officers. There was maybe like 2 or 3 officers attempting to guard this entrance. Dillard then made his way to the front of this mob, and he was seen using some sort of metal tool to smash the glass insert on one of the doors. So this was captured on both surveillance video from the inside as well as from video that was taken by another member of the mob outside. The surveillance video captured another one of Trump's mob walking to the rotunda doors from the inside. This is someone who had gotten in from another location. They walked to those doors and they pushed them open from the inside. So once those were open, Dillard was one of the first to enter. An officer who was inside the building ran over. He tried to shut the doors to stop the breach, and Dillard grabbed him by his protective vest, grabbed him from behind, and threw him to the ground. Now, luckily, he was wearing a helmet and his vest because his head and his shoulder slammed into the marble floors, and then he slid into a metal bench. So another officer ran over. He helped that officer up. He kind of pulled him aside to let him catch his breath, make sure he was okay. And then Dillard was seen moving back to the entrance. There was another officer who was trying to secure the doors. He was trying to pull them shut. And Dillard was seen on video repeatedly shoving that officer while another person was pushing open the door. So Dillard wasn't strong enough to hold that officer back. He was much larger than Dillard. And so he got in the officer's face, he was pointing at him, he was screaming. And then after a while, he gave up and Dillard headed further into the building. So he wandered throughout various areas before finally exiting the Capitol. He was inside for about 25 minutes in total. And he left the Capitol grounds sometime after that. Well, that afternoon, Dillard texted someone and said, quote, "Stormed the Capitol," and quote, "It was crazy." Dillard texted another person that day and he said in part, quote, "We always knew a fight was necessary." The following day, he complained to a friend who had entered the building with him. He wrote, quote, "It's been rough listening to all our heroes talk down about what we did." And quote, "They cite all the problems with this country, then say, but storming the Capitol was unacceptable." So Dillard was arrested on August 23rd of 2022, and he was charged with civil disorder, assaulting officers, destruction of government property, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, 2 counts of physical violence, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. In July of 2023, Dillard pleaded guilty to assaulting officers, so he was looking at up to 8 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested only 18 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and restitution in the amount of $36,238.55. So this large restitution payment represents the damage to the rotunda door. So the requested prison time, though, is a joke. I mean, considering the violent nature of the assaults and the fact that he's a former Marine who swore to protect our country, and medical records show the officer who was slammed to the ground by Dillard suffered from vertigo and dizziness for 3 months after the Capitol attack. In a victim impact statement, that officer said, "Yeah, I can't attribute necessarily my head injury to that one specific assault, but after Dillard's attack, quote, that's when it got hazy for me." So this officer was assaulted so many times on January 6th. He was hit in the head so many times that he can't be sure which one of these injuries caused his residual effects of those injuries. But yeah, this was a peaceful tourist visit. The police were in on it, all this BS that they're spewing out on Twitter now because of the release of a few videos that show some people just parading in the Capitol. I swear to God, it is so easy to fool MAGA. You could convince them of anything. You could convince them that the moon is made of cheese. That's how gullible they are. Anyway, unfortunately, the U.S. District Judge is Gia Cobb, who presided over this case. She is by far the worst district judge appointed by Joe Biden, possibly the worst judge of all. She is even more lenient than Trump appointees when it comes to these January 6 cases. And I couldn't locate any details about what was said at the sentencing hearing, so I have no idea how she justified her ridiculous decision. But Dillard was sentenced to only 10 months in prison and 1 year of probation. And then he was ordered to pay the $36,238.55 in restitution. So now we know, right? Now we know we can slam a police officer to the ground. We can repeatedly shove another officer. And with good behavior, I mean, we'll get little more than a slap on the wrist. This judge is an embarrassment. So I will let you all know if I hear more. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like this video, share it, become a subscriber if you have not. Something going on with the YouTube algorithm right now, guys. I don't know what the heck they did. They must have made some changes, but it is not good. Things are tanking right now. So any help you can give, sharing, telling others, please tell your family at Thanksgiving to please subscribe to the channel. If everyone who is subscribed right now has at least one person subscribe as well, think about it. I would be at almost the 100,000 mark. So really appreciate it. If you can help financially, that is also greatly, greatly appreciated. Love you all. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.